Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Hello to Matt's Movie Lodge. I am Ray Don Chong. I want to send love and light to you all at this time. And now, by the power vested in me, I summon the Lodgecast.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies, so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke grass. Lodgecast, missing movie pass. Lodgecast,
We're gonna watch some crap.
Lodgecast.
And then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 92, Dinesh D'Souza's Trump Card. Hello and welcome to a very special, dark, political, swampy episode of the Lodgecast. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
God bless America.
Brother Lucas did not want to be here tonight. He tried to play all his Loquisha Law cards, all of that shit. He cried wolf too many times. We got him here. He's stuck. He's going to watch this fucking movie. LT is here with us tonight.
I am an innocent man. I am just a patsy. I need legal representation. Will someone please help me, please?
Denied. And to help usher this in with a modicum of class and insight and intellect, we have Brother Justin with us.
I have one of those things I'm bringing.
You got to guess which one.
I also tried to cry wolf, but I cried wolf blitzer and nobody listened.
Oh my God, guys. It's time once again. It's that time of year for Dinesh D'Souza. He's back with Trump Card.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Bishki's smile could not be brighter. He is so excited for this.
The movie we have been dreading and waiting for all year long. We've been on a journey with Dinesh before.
Yes. What was that one called? The Death of a Nation?
Death of a Nation. Can we save America a second time? And
which we saw at the Universal City Walk, and the theater was mostly Russians.
Yeah.
Wow. Nothing weird about that at all.
Episode 19 was Zach. I can't believe Zach made it through, but
he never would again. Would again. He's done his time. But Lucas is in the Zach seat now. And have you seen a Dinesh joint, Lucas? Are you familiar with this guy?
I must have. I mean, if I don't remember, I mean, like, I'll have to check my Letterboxd notes, but
you'd remember.
Yes.
I feel like I've seen some of these right-wing propaganda troll farm films somewhere in the past. Like,
his movies are so iffy on a fact level that they are categorized in IMDb first and foremost as docudramas. That's what we're dealing with here. Mm-hmm. But you look at all his reviews, instantly it's 10 out of 10 out of 10. He knows what's going on. He's the only one that has the facts. We need to get the facts out. It's amazing. Justin, what's your history with Dinesh?
You dragged me to one of his movies at Burbank 16.
Hillary's America.
Hillary's America, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hillary's America. Oh, if only we would have known what that would have ended up being like, but alas.
Significantly less funny in hindsight. We were just walking out of it laughing, and I would just love to get a DeLorean and go back in time and just be like, it's not funny, guys. It's not funny.
Stop laughing.
No, they're very bad, but it's also just sad for our society that so many people would rather watch documentaries about real murders than they would political documentaries.
Yeah. It's true.
And I'm lumping myself into that. I'm not even that into true crime, but political docs as of late are unwatchable to me.
What Dinesh does to the format of the documentary is a true crime. He inserts himself. His ego cannot be contained by the frame of the film. He is front and center on this poster. He's going all in. This looks like the Dineshiest Dinesh joint that we've ever come into contact with.
He's taking a chapter out of the Michael Moore school of
without a doubt,
political activism.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget how much of a man of the people Michael Moore was. Probably still is, but I mean, once you hit a certain level of success, you're painted as an elite, no matter how many dirty trucker hats you wear.
Right.
But he started out as like a guy criticizing the Clinton administration, essentially.
Sure.
Like anyone
Yeah.
in power who was not helping out the little guy.
And
I
that's the
think
main difference. Yeah.
that is a big difference. But it also, I think your perspective just gets skewed no matter what. Like his documentaries in the last few years have been significantly less interesting, I think. And maybe that's just because we're getting 24-hour news and we're all just tired of it.
Well, Fahrenheit 11/9, when he has a formidable foe like Roger in Roger and Me and Donald Trump in Fahrenheit 11/9, George W. Bush in Fahrenheit 9/11, that's when his rubber really hits the road, and you can feel his direct anger into your soul, and it hits. But Dinesh, as the right-wing Michael Moore, I mean, it's not really fair to Michael Moore. Dinesh he will bend himself into a pretzel to make Donald Trump seem like the be-all, end-all second coming of Christ, because he got pardoned by him. That's the whole undercurrent of all this propaganda, is Trump pardoned this filmmaker / felon.
Yeah, he knowingly did something illegal and then whined about getting caught.
And now he is sucking Trump's ball sack in film after film, and it is embarrassing to watch. But, you know, we're supposed to go in with love and light with these things, so maybe he's turned a new leaf over. I
don't know.
I don't think so.
I smell a grifter when I see a grifter, and honestly, I think I read some hot takedown piece on him in the last year or two where someone was like, "Oh, it's a business for him. You know, he's a businessman.
Right.
He needs to
it's like Ann
pay."
Coulter, who he dated, by the way.
Oh,
who he
God.
dated.
Oh my God. That says so much about both of them. But I mean, he's got, you know, a monthly nut just like we all do, like a mortgage, a credit card bill, car payment, cell phone, internet. Like he's got to pay for that, right? You got to like write checks and have your business manager debit those accounts and balance the books. And in order to do that, you need cash, you need liquidity. And clearly he's found this niche, like this like right wing, it's like faith-based films for churches, except for, you know, QAnon like assholes. And yeah, I don't think he really truly believes it because it's so half-assed and so just like half shit out of his own ass. Like he's cutting it in his lap, like on Final Cut while his like, you know, wife makes him dinner. Like I can totally visualize like how this gets put together. And it's just like the bare minimum of product that he can put a package on and sell to like the lowest common denominator. Like,
yeah, and it works. It's number one on iTunes right now.
Yes,
it has been reviewed by 0 people on Rotten Tomatoes. Nobody is touching this film as a critic. That's how toxic it is.
We're bravely marching forth.
Yeah, once in a while we can knowingly go into something with 0 love and light. Just be honest about it, you know?
I mean, after 3 woofs in a row, because we didn't talk about 2016 Obama's America. That was another one he did in 2012. But after 3 woofs in a row, you get no more love and light, Dinesh. We're coming to rip you to shreds. That's all there is.
I love the permission to have no love and no light. Let's lock and load, gentlemen, and march into this fucking annihilation zone of propaganda and deep state swampery.
Okay, before we watch, though, how many times does he bring up Abraham Lincoln? I'm saying at least 5.
Yeah.
I'm saying 25.
I think that's a good guess. I also anticipate at least 45 minutes of Antifa footage, at least.
Of course. And And his wife got a big musical number in the last one that just stopped the movie cold, and she got to sing her song. She's a producer on this, so I expect a full dance number.
We're already treading into that weird pornography fetish category of genre with that bit of information.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys hit yourselves during these, right? I'm not the only one. It was like just a leather strap that I flail myself with.
Pounding a beer as we speak.
Yeah.
Yep, flog away, gentlemen, and God, pray for us. We'll let you know what we saw on the other side.
It's Trump card.
No love, no light.
Make America great again. Back to the time we remember when everybody had a white picket fence. We gotta make America great again. Take us back to the good old days when men relied on a team of slaves. All the while you tell them Jesus saves. We gotta make America great again. Back when a woman knew her place and the children would say their grace, and there was only one superior race. We gotta make America great again. Ma 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 mega. Ma 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 mega. Ma 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 mega. Ma 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 mega. La 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 mega. La 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 la
America, America. We are back. Holy shit. Holy shit. Lucas, are you still alive?
I'm
Talk
alive.
to us, Lucas.
I'm alive.
Oh my God.
You guys, I am really upset because I already turned in my ballot, and this movie completely changed my mind. I'm furious.
Oh my God. Well, my brain's about to burst. My head is throbbing, but before we unpack it, unload it, and get into it.
Fishy! What's that shot?
From Rotten Tomatoes, filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza examines the ideas of socialism and the state of politics in America, period.
That's it.
That's it.
That's probably the best part of this movie is the brevity of the schnapps.
Yeah, nobody reads. Nobody's a reader who's in the market for this kind of drivel.
I just have to start by saying this is such an impressionistic, random diarrhea spatter of propaganda that there is no way that we can cover this in any sort of way that makes sense because he jumps around so much. You can't pin him down. It's like the Ben Shapiro style of shitty discourse. Is if you go fast enough and if you keep moving, nobody can ever call you on your bullshit because you're on to the next three things by the time they can even hear you.
I call it Fox News word salad. He's just throwing out words that piss people off. AOC, Green New Deal, Ilhan Omar.
And we need to find out if there's some dragons lurking in that Fox News word salad.
There be dragons.
I think there might be. But let's start at the very beginning. A very, very shitty place to start with that D' logo for Dinesh D'Souza Film Productions. It's like Pure Flicks or Quality Flicks, but it's Dinesh Flicks.
He's just as narcissistic as Trump because before the movie even starts, his name appears on screen no less than 6 or 7 times, like in the credits, like Tyler Perry or somebody where it's just like craft service by Dinesh D'Souza.
And there's D'Souza's all over the credits too. There's his wife and his daughter, and we'll get to them.
Yeah.
But the movie begins with a reenactment of a torture session, which I thought was interesting. It's kind of mysterious. And you kind of know where he's going with it. You know that the socialist scourge is being drilled into this man's brain. But on screen, it says this movie is based on a book, United States of Socialism by Dinesh D'Souza. And that is a recurring theme throughout this movie. Everybody everybody's got a book to plug.
Mm-hmm.
And they plug the shit out of everybody's book. Like, everybody interviewed in this movie wrote a fucking book.
Even his daughter wrote a book. And he's got his daughter in a lengthy interview.
Just a quick survey. Can you guys stomach political books anymore? I read quite a bit of them in my 20s, and I fucking can't. I just can't anymore.
Only like some of the tell-alls, like Fire and Fury was a pretty good one, and some of those. But like anyone that's just like Michael Moore, like new book or something like that, like I don't do those no more.
As much as I like Michael Moore, I think he came out with a book that was just letters from soldiers or something, and the cover was him like delicately handling this folded up American flag.
Yes. Will they ever trust us again?
And even I was like, oh my God, Michael, fuck off with this. Like, I love you, but what is this?
Well, this movie sees Dinesh delicately handling his eMac as he searches the internet for about 50% of the footage. We just see him looking through articles about socialism. And while he's on his computer, and it's just wall-to-wall Dinesh VO as well, which is in itself a hilarious art form. But he gets a call from Trump. He's dramatizing his own pardon. Basically, he's getting a call from Trump, and it's a Trump impersonator saying, Dinesh.
It's like a comedy Trump impersonator.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I was completely activated at that point.
Yeah.
Because the flattering Trump impersonator is indistinguishable from the people who are trying to make fun of Trump.
Yes, we've reached that singularity point where he is his own parody. Parody has ceased to exist at this point because of Trump. And this impersonator is basically like, Dinesh, I've heard great things about what you're doing, and I plan to pardon you tomorrow. And then Dinesh is trying to show his acting chops, and he's like, oh, thank you, Mr. President. I really appreciate that. Like, people are taking this as fact. How many people that pay good money to rent this movie, how many people are going to think that that's Donald Trump calling, that that's a Trump cameo?
Yeah.
Well, what's hilarious, too, is I could tell they only paid that guy for half a day because he lost steam. Like, you could tell it was right before lunch towards the end of that run because he was talking slower. He had low energy.
So slow.
And it's like, sorry, man, you only get half a day on this one.
Yeah, he was a pretty lousy impressionist, even for a comedic Trump.
LT, what were you thinking when you got that Trump phone call?
I just thought, here we go, the Dinesh show. I just thought we were right on track where we were supposed to be. And he didn't mention Abraham Lincoln. He cast an actor, Don Taylor, to portray Abraham Lincoln.
Oh my God. The Lincoln footage.
Bookends the doc, kind of, but also is interspliced throughout with like Lincoln taking a train ride from, I guess, Illinois or wherever to DC.
They use all the footage they got of that fucking train ride. Oh my God. That's their big spend.
That's the same Lincoln in Death of a Nation, too, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
He doesn't look like Lincoln at all.
He's the guy that Dinesh talked into being the face of bad faith Lincoln arguments throughout all of his documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
On an optimistic note, he might be moving on to Ronald Reagan. There was a passing of the torch to nonstop Lincoln talk to Reagan. I think that's the new jam for Dinesh.
There's more than a few quote unquote badass montages of Reagan talking tough that I think you're right, Justin. I think we're going to get some Reagan impersonators next, and we're going to go deep into the Reagan mythology, unless something comes up after Trump that something shiny that gets his attention. But this kind of kicks off this free jazz kind of exploration of all of Dinesh's complaints. And there is no rhyme or reason. Like, the connective tissue between his topics is so tenuous. It's almost like watching an acrobat, like a really shitty regional Cirque du Soleil, where you're like, your eyebrows raised and you're like, whoa, that was a segue. That was a segue right there. Congrats, Dinesh. You did that double backflip, and it was unsteady, but you landed it.
He puts these chapter headings, which are probably the chapter headings of his book, and there's like 20 of them.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and that's an easy way to segue into this next topic.
And he goes through all these Trump officials who pled guilty and were convicted of crimes. And he says they're all framed, including Dinesh himself. Dinesh himself was a victim of the deep state. Everything's a conspiracy. Everybody who has been convicted, who is a supporter of Trump, was clearly framed by the swamp and the deep state and Hunter Biden.
He's assuming that Bernie was going to win the primary too. And just when Bernie didn't win, he's just like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to stay the course.
I'm going to make my movie anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Biden doesn't really even factor in till close to the end when they talk about Hunter Biden, because you are required by law to mention Hunter Biden in your conservative documentary.
We know all paths are leading to Hunter, but what a twisty, windy path it is. Like, he does break things into sort of chunks. Like, he has a chunk about African Americans and Trump. He has a chunk about Latinos and Trump. And with each of these sections, he interviews these bootlickers who, if you're on Twitter and you look under any of Trump's tweets, these are all the people that are the first comment under his tweets, that no matter what it is, Trump could be like, I ate my own shit today and it tasted great. They'd be like, yes, Mr. Trump, we support this.
Yeah.
That's what all of these interview subjects are.
Yeah.
And so they have an African-American conservative stand-up comedian who...
Terrence K.
Williams, because he says he likes Trump, then that's the African-American vote all wrapped up. Good job, Dinesh. There's a part where he says, next stop, women. And that's when he moves into the abortion debate and has his own daughter on plugging her anti-abortion book.
And she's totally lying too. She's like spewing like outright lies. Like a woman can go into dilation, they can kill her baby still. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. The lies of just like how the left is just obsessed with late-term abortion and just wants to kill babies like after they're born.
It's like, if your kid doesn't make it to kindergarten by the time they're 5, they will kill it and like skin it,
And he introduces these very strange period 80s vignettes where Trump gives money to a homeless man and they dub in the same impersonator as he walks away, giving dialogue about donating to this homeless man. Nothing is real in this. You can't trust anything.
Well, and what was really bizarre about that bit is that he was making a point that Donald Trump was heavily in debt at the time that he gave that guy $1. So I don't know exactly what the hell his point is. Like, if these conservative talking points are going to keep perpetuating that the Republicans are the party of pick yourself up by your bootstraps, stop running rich kids that were handed everything.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney, George W. Bush, Donald Trump all inherited their money.
Trump was given
like,
$400
it's such
million.
A fake talking point.
Dinesh dodges all of those hypocrisies like Neo with the bullet time bullets, and he will never acknowledge any of it. But it is so blatantly thudding over your head obvious. And this movie switches into some of the shittiest animation that I've seen. Like documentaries, they cut corners sometimes on their animation. But this was shitty animation, boringly covering Trump's terrible business ideas, but framing them sort of like their successes, but not even really. And then slathering this shitty, like, New York success stock music over the whole thing. And all of that stuff coming together made me pour a drink. I actually drank while I watched this. And I don't drink alcohol usually, but I had to at this point.
I had to at a certain point, yeah.
We were like 15 minutes in.
Yeah, I went and got a beer.
I had some drinks.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this runtime was pretty rough.
Yeah, I thought it was ending with the Lincoln train into the steam, and I was like, yes. And then it like kept going. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
And then like 5 more minutes, and it was like 9 more minutes. But I was like, shit, like how could you not end on the image of the train? Like, I don't know.
No, he doesn't know where to end it. And on a section for virtue signaling and gay and lesbians, this is a quote.
We've had gays, lesbians, and bisexuals for centuries. What's new is that this has now become an ideology.
What the fuck is he talking about? Dinesh, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh my God. And then he interviews a gay conservative, Scott Pressler, who's one of those bootlickers who's right under Trump's tweets every single time.
I see him. Dude goes around and cleans up trash and thinks he's a god.
All right, I don't know who this guy is, but full disclosure, can he come to my neighborhood? Because they ain't wrong about cities being full of trash.
Yes, he's picking up trash, but he's got some trash of his own that he's going to drop there in its place. And this movie is just chock-a-block full of these guys who they just worship Trump. And that is the bottom line. That is your prerequisite for getting into this movie.
Yeah, and we're talking about this being like Fox News word salad, which is completely right on. And I'm being very serious when I say this. If we have to do another one of these, we're playing word salad bingo.
Yes, yeah.
We have to do it.
Absolutely,
Burisma,
absolutely.
A shot of Sean Penn, Susan Sarandon,
Saul Alinsky,
Green New Deal,
Deep State, Green New Deal.
Yeah.
AOC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Dinesh moves right along to the dangers of radical Islam.
Oof, this is one of the grossest parts, but
this is some bad shit. He interviews a guy named Mohammed Tawhidi who calls Ilhan Omar ISIS with lipstick.
What's your take on her?
Fundamentalist, extremist, Islamist, jihadi ideology, a threat to national security, ISIS with lipstick.
That interview seemed completely fake. Like it was the dude
totally fake.
The dude seemed like Borat. Like that.
He seemed like Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
That's in my notes too. Like this is a Jewish comedian who's having a laugh at Dinesh's expense.
Yeah.
It really feels that way. And Dinesh making allegations against Omar about alleged campaign finance impropriety is extra rich considering that's what Dinesh was fucking convicted of.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucking asshole. Look at yourself in the mirror. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's madness. And
you're putting that in your documentary. Ugh.
And the guy says her weakness is, quote, money and sex.
Yeah.
Yes, and he moves right along.
Moving
right along.
We're not going to elaborate on that at all.
And this whole section has aged especially poorly in light of the Taliban officially endorsing Trump in the last couple of days.
Yeah. Well, and the supposed deep state investigation of all of the Hillary's emails and all that nonsense ended today with no convictions.
Yes, no convictions.
Republican-led investigation, no convictions.
Let's talk about Scandinavia briefly because he did touch on like, okay, so the left, with their idea of socialism, says what it wants, what Scandinavia wants, you know, which is universal health care and whatever, and it's exactly what we want. But then Dinesh denounces that in about a minute time, just kind of saying, no, actually, what they want is Venezuela. And then we go into this big Venezuelan section.
Yeah, I was ready for that because he teases it early in the movies, like they mention Scandinavia and then moves right on. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like, why even mention it, Dinesh? Just say we want Venezuela. That's what you know you want to get to.
And he's like, these countries are actually capitalist. I'm like, no shit. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
You're not listening. They're still capitalist countries with social programs.
Exactly.
And once we get down to Venezuela, coincidentally, Dinesh's wife is from Venezuela. So we cut to her and her friend having fun at a gun range. And then we swing wildly into Second Amendment talk. Oh my God.
I did not know it was going to. The curveballs, you don't know where they're coming from. You're just like, we're talking about Venezuela and then we're into gun control all of a sudden. Like, yeah.
An ominous shot of a high school hallway where you see the lockers, you know your soul's about to be hurt.
We know this Parkland school shooting is coming, but he does cut to Biden at a certain point that made me laugh because, you know, anytime he cuts to a liberal of any stripe, it'll just be a very brief soundbite. He's in and out. He's like, Joe Biden used to be a strong supporter of gun rights. And they just cut to Joe Biden from some archive clip saying, buy a shotgun.
Buy a shotgun.
And then we get the ominous hallway. We got the Parkland school shooting, and he has the father on of one of the victims who is pimping another book. And they advocate for faculty having more guns in schools, which, great, Dinesh.
That's the root cause. Dinesh. If all the teachers would have been armed.
Some dark shit.
Way to think it through, Dinesh.
Why, if you're the party that supports the police, if that's going to be your stance, why show and talk about the cop who didn't do anything to stop the shooting?
Multiple cops.
So it's very confusing.
He was too close to retirement. He didn't want to die. He knew he would die because he didn't have enough firepower, you know?
You didn't need this to pad your runtime to mention that a cop acted in a cowardly manner.
Well, but that was his connective tissue to get to, well, what if somebody inside the school was trained with guns? What if the gym teacher had a gun? Like, he will cut off his nose despite his face. He will ruin some other point to segue into a new point because he knows whoever is renting this is buzzed to the hilt on beer and or wine, and they're just letting it all wash over them like a propaganda sludge.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter.
It's just another night of Fox News, man. It's just, yes.
So I got a smile on my face when I saw the establishing shot of Dinesh going to a strip club.
Yes.
And man, that joy did not last long.
Call it out. Call it out. Call
God.
it for what it is.
Boys, we got a major salad dragon on our hands here.
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
It's a dragon attack.
Oh, boy.
This dragon rolled around in mud for about a half hour before taking to the skies and flying
the
onto
most
this podcast.
vile salad dragon I've ever encountered.
Man, all I could think about were like the old ladies, you know, that get busted into these things that are like, old Fox News, demographic, and they're watching this doc and they see Abraham Lincoln, they see all these diverse people, and you're like, yeah. And then this is like maybe an hour in, a little over an hour in, and we get to this segment.
Holy shit.
My God. This is National Enquirer shit. So Dinesh is in the strip club interviewing a man named Larry Sinclair, and this man claims to have, back in the day, before Obama was...
Been in a limousine.
Yes. Back in the day, in a limousine with pre-presidential Barack Hussein Obama. He was partying it up. He was partying it up with drugs and says he performed oral sex on Obama in the limousine while Obama smoked crack cocaine.
Now, time out. Did any of us know about this before we saw this in the doc? Because I didn't. Because I was
absolutely
like,
not.
what
Absolutely
the
not.
fuck is this guy talking about?
I was blindsided by this.
At first, I thought it was a joke because it was so...
Yes.
So out of left field. I was like, what?
It's out of control, yes.
Yeah. And then I realized, no, this guy's for real. And
he's for real. But there's an overarching strategy to this. But the details... Larry Sinclair says that after he went public, Beau Biden had him arrested, and he claims another man who had an intimate relationship with Obama was killed, and the murder was never solved.
He was shot point blank in his apartment or something.
And all the while, there's this like stock X-Files-esque music bed in the background that's like we're uncovering some sort of alien mystery. And you better believe that Larry motherfucking Sinclair has a book to sell. And that book is titled Barack Obama and Larry Sinclair, Cocaine, Sex, Lies, and Murder? Question mark?
I kept waiting for Dinesh D'Souza to tell Larry, but you just thought he looked like Obama. like, you know, you're just waiting for that. Well, like, I mean, how did you know it was Obama? There was never like any corroboration or proof. It was just no, it was Obama. No. Like, I told the limo driver, hey, do you know where I could have a good time? Like, I know just the guy. So you're just me to Obama. And we're in the back of the limo, and I'm drinking, and he's smoking, and my hand goes on his leg. Yes. And then I was performing oral sex on him.
We started drinking. I started snorting. He started smoking. I actually put my hand on his knee and started to rub up his thigh. And I performed oral sex on Barack Obama.
The hand on the leg.
What? Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, but Obama came back for seconds the next day.
He came back for seconds.
No. There's a knock at my door, and I open the door, and there's Obama.
The following day, I actually get a knock on my hotel room door, only to find Barack Obama standing in front of it. He had actually come back for seconds. I performed oral sex on him in the hotel room at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois.
Oh my God! So, but the strategy of this outlandish interview is that he moves right on to the Stormy Daniels affair, and he equates that, which is documented, there was hush money paid, he equates that with Larry Sinclair's flight of fancy, as if to say, fake news abounds, who can you trust anymore? And he throws up his arms.
And it's really strange because it's unnecessary. Like, just to throw old Dinesh a bone, I don't disagree with him that our response to the Stormy Daniels story was despicable. I was so disappointed in how we treated this woman like a hero. She knowingly had sex with a married man and then took hush money. That's not a fucking hero. Let's not have her on talk shows. Like, it's sensationalized and it's funny because she's a porn star, but rolling out the red carpet like she's some sort of savior and then dragging her piece of shit lawyer into the, into
future
this
President Michael Avenatti.
Yeah, this like, we're so desperate for a hero to take down Trump that we just let the floodgates open, and it's just
Michael Cohen too.
Awful.
He's a hero. He's a hero. He's one of the scummiest dudes on earth, but he has the goods.
People. So that's all you get, Dinesh.
We'll throw Dinesh that dirty bone, but then we'll take it right back because he then moves on to the deep state. George Papadopoulos is interviewed, who again pled guilty and was convicted of lying to the FBI about his connections with Russian agents. And Papadopoulos has a book. It's called Deep State Target: How I Got Caught in the Crosshairs of the Plot to Bring Down President Trump. That's the name of a book. His wife is there for some reason.
I thought she was like a Russian agent. She was like vouching for him, but I was like, where is she from? Like Georgia, like Belarus?
And then finally we get to, I guess, the moment that some people have all been waiting for. They go through the entire Biden family tree talking about any sort of corruption that may waft across its branches. And I'm still struck that pretty much all the Trump campaign has on Biden as far as like scandals is this shaky Burisma salary thing. Like, that's it. That's all they have. That's what they hang their entire coat of arms on, and it's just not enough, and it's not for damn sure is not exciting enough to move any needles in your docudrama.
I zoned out completely during this part. I was just like,
you can't help but zone out.
I long for the days of Roger Clinton.
Right. Yeah. I mean, oh my God, it's just so boring. But he covers it anyway. And you can tell even Dinesh finds it kind of boring, Like, he doesn't really dwell on it. He moves on. He knows he needs to have it in here. But he moves directly on to relitigating the case of the baker refusing to make a gay wedding cake. And we just keep on fucking moving. The rest of the runtime I basically consider to be a grease trap for all of his extra shit that he didn't have time for earlier.
Yeah, we finally get to Antifa, which I thought we were going to see a lot more of.
Bishki gets his Antifa section.
I kind of understand, like, he probably had this movie, like, almost finished, like, probably, like, 6 months ago, before, while coronavirus was just getting started. And then he's like editing it and he's completing it. And he's like, oh shit, now like Antifa in Portland and all this stuff is going down nationwide with coronavirus. Like he's got to include everything.
It feels tacked on.
Yeah.
He has pseudo-journalistic shit starter Andy No on to help him conclude that Antifa are in fact the direct descendants of Nazi brown shirts. So we blew the lid off of that, folks. So then we go back to the torture session from the beginning and we realize that they are in fact doing an extended dramatization of George Orwell's 1984, where the state insists that 2 + 2 = 5. And again, he's completely and hilariously missing the irony that Trump will quite literally tell you that it's a sunny day out when it's clearly raining. He will never see this. He will never see the irony that he is clearly laying out for everybody.
Well, and it's the same people who accuse Democrats of constantly playing the victim card, and
Absolutely.
then you're showing someone literally being tortured for their political views. And this is also where the movie got very meta, because I was keeping account of how many times he said Lincoln.
Yes.
And it was 4 at the time.
4.
And I was like, wait, did I miss one? And then he said it again, then it was 5. And I'm like, wait, what does the state want me to think? Was it 4 times or 5 times?
Well, Dinesh blows all that out of the water anyway, because the next segment is all about Lincoln on the train. He is padding this runtime with this Lincoln train footage. He has exterior shots of the train. Interior, he's got Lincoln praying on the train. He's got Lincoln thinking on the train.
You know, it's his wife singing America the Beautiful. And it's just
this weird minor key America the Beautiful, like you would put on some horror trailer.
It's such a nightmare. And it's just ushering us into Civil War II. I mean, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. I watched this movie with a train enthusiast who knew immediately that that was the train that Lincoln was carted around on after he died. So that spoiled the big twist for me. Thanks, wife.
Where Lincoln died? Yeah, spoiler alert. This is a quote from Dinesh that ends this Lincoln segment.
Lincoln died defending the American dream against slavery. What price are we willing to pay to protect our American dream against the new form of slavery that is socialism?
You think it's over. The train takes off into the mist.
Disappears into the mist.
Oh, I wish it was over.
But then we're hit with that sweet, sweet double dragon.
Double dragon!
And it's a quick one. It's a quick one. Blink and you'll miss it. But there's a reenactment that purports to be the early 90s of Trump partying in a limo. Bishki, what did you see happen in this?
I just saw he's in a limo partying it up with some ladies and men.
Not the real Trump. This is an actor playing Trump.
Oh, and Marla Maples, don't forget.
Yeah, Marla was probably in the mix. But then he jumps out of a limo to break up a fight. That this like
there's a mugging that he stops in progress, like a superhero. The whole time you see him going out to stop this mugging, and this voice of the reenactor is just like, "Stop the limo! I gotta get out! I gotta go help this guy!" Like, what? This is the music is swelling. Like, this is the end of your movie, and this is what you're putting in there.
Hey, you hit this guy with a baseball bat. He's on the ground. That's not fair.
What at this point, why not just make it like an action scene where Trump like does a roundhouse kick, like
you may as well.
Swayze
you
and
may
Roadhouse.
As well.
Like just do it. It doesn't matter.
There's so many little mini montages where like Trump is rattling through all of his stupid nicknames he has for people, but there's like chugging guitars. Like this is some sort of badass behavior. Like everything he does is framed as like the ultimate badass. So why not make him a literal superhero? Trump himself wanted to exit Walter Reed and rip open his shirt and have a Superman logo on his shirt. So we're close to it in real life. Yeah. Why not, Dinesh?
We so narrowly avoided that being reality. That would have officially broken the simulation.
Yeah.
When Trump ripped open his shirt to reveal the Superman logo, everything would have went white. And you would have just heard a voice going, "Simulation complete." And none of us would fucking be surprised. We'd be like, oh, thank God.
It's over.
It was all fake.
It's complete.
Unplug me.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of unplugging, the train finally chugs to a stop with Trump giving a sleepy speech about America and Jesus and the best being yet to come. And then we're out.
I thought it was funny that Trump got COVID and like could have potentially died before the release. So it would have been even funnier if it ended on that note, but I guess he's still alive.
I don't know if you guys were already checked out at this point, but there's some stock footage towards the end. And one of the shots is particularly inspiring. It's stock footage of a kid running towards the edge of a cliff with some makeshift like cardboard glider on his back.
I noted that, yeah.
This kid is going to jump to his death, but because he believes in Trump, it's going to be just fine. And I thought that was a perfect note to go out on for this movie.
All right, let's go to them dirty, dirty Dinesh bones. Oh my God. Well, Lucas, we're happy to have you here tonight. You seem to be in relatively good spirits, and I'm truly curious to see how hard you woof this film. Let's go for it.
It's crazy. I never thought I'd be watching this type of movie because it's definitely not made for me. It's like the right-wing propaganda arm, and he's pandering to his audience, like throw the fish a seal or seal a fish, like you'll get them to applaud and clap. Like once I got to like George Papadopoulos, like justifying his treason and how he was entrapment. They got him to lie. Basically, it's like, oh my God, how did we get here? It's just like,
how did we get to this utopia?
What have we done to deserve this?
So brutal. It's so brutal. Especially with COVID-19, it's like so convenient for Dinesh not to have any kind of epilogue or amendment to the release. He's just gonna squeak it by. But like, earlier this week, I heard that Facebook is gonna stop promoting content that is about Holocaust denying, and it's like they did like a research survey, and like a quarter of the people surveyed like had their doubts about the Holocaust in some way, shape, or form. And it's like a quarter is like
so fucking scary.
Way too many people. And it's like, oh man. And I think like, even today, the New York Post or someone was like floating some bogus voter fraud scam story, and like, it's just like, oh man, like the media is partly to blame, for giving validity or acknowledgement to these voices. And it's like half the time it's just like total, utter lies and garbage coming from the right, at least. And just how they vilify like any smart woman, like, Alexandra or Ortiz Cortese.
Alexander Cortese.
But I was just so tuned out for most of it until the guy was like, and then I started performing fellatio on Obama. And I was like, wait a minute, like what? And then I was like, all right, there's the salad dragon. And then the like Trump
back online.
The Trump dramatizations were, these little garnishes where I was like, Jesus, it's like he's hoping Trump calls him again to be like, Dinesh, I saw your latest movie and it was even better than the first.
Trump doesn't have the attention span for the first 3 minutes of this.
No, he already tweeted how great it was, but he never saw a minute of it.
He never saw it.
But it's funny, like watching those George Orwell like torture scenes, because it made me think like if I put Dinesh and Trump in a room together with like a knife and said, I'm locking you guys in here. And, in 1 hour, I'll unlock the door. I'm pretty sure like Trump would pick up the knife and just kill Dinesh to get out of the room like earlier, like, I mean.
100%.
Dinesh has been locked up. You saw that footage.
That's true. He's tough.
There were scary minorities looking tough and arguing in prison.
A quick note on that. Dinesh recycles the same dramatization of his trial from Death of a Nation. It's the exact same footage. Mm-hmm. It's a reenactment of his trial that a lot of people who watch this will think it's footage from his actual trial. It's not. He is creating it for his movie. Docudrama.
Prove it, libtard.
I can't prove it. I'm a libtard. Go on.
No, but that's it. I'm pretty much done. I got to give this a woof. This is definitely not. This is not something that anyone should see. Your neighbor's vacation videos are more engaging or entertaining. And like, the one thing I didn't know was this crazy person claiming to have had sex with Obama. And it's like, wow, like I didn't realize.
We got to read that book.
Yeah, I didn't realize people were this ill, you know?
I hope he has an audiobook. That's a woof from LT. Brother Justin, you've been brewing up a hot take. What is it?
Well, let me ask you this, gents. On a technical level, is this any worse than a film called The Devil and Father Amort by revered filmmaker William Friedkin, master filmmaker?
Oh, you're bringing up the Amorth line.
Why
which
you got to
Bishke
put me
gave
in?
2
Why you got
bones.
to put me in this situation where
On
I
a
gave it 2
technical
bones?
level, is this worse? The Orwell torture scene.
No, it's not worse
on
on a
little
technical
bit of production
level.
value.
You trying to bump my bones up here? What are you doing?
I'm just being a provocateur, guys.
He's just
It's a
planting
woof.
seeds.
It's
planting
a
seeds.
woof. Come on.
Woof from Justin.
Here's the thing. There's an argument to be had. Anything that has to do with politics, it's not monolithic for anyone. No one's all in on the dumb party platform that none of us would agree with 100%, right? So there's cracks in however you vote. So there's an argument to be had about socialism, about American exceptionalism, about victimhood, all this shit. That it's there. But this is so devoid of anything meaningful.
Yeah, this ain't it, Chief, as they say.
No, it certainly isn't. I mean, the Larry Sinclair shit, the Parkland shooting bit. I mean, there was a stretch there where I was like, he's saying we're turning into an Islamic country, and then Obama's getting a beej while he's smoking crack. And by the time that was done, I was like, oh shit, this is about socialism. I fucking forgot socialism for a while.
You forget.
So, yeah, I mean, when you have things like this in a film that are so devoid of, intellectual and any kind of merit whatsoever, really, it's a woof.
It's a woof. It's got to be.
It's a goddamn
You're
woof.
putting garbage into the world, and you will not be rewarded for it. I mean, financially, he'll probably make some money.
Absolutely. Dinesh says in this film that capitalism creates empathy.
Well, what was also weird is there was a quote towards the end of it where he was like, Donald Trump didn't create all this chaos and division. This chaos and division created him.
Yeah, like a monster.
I'm like, yeah, he certainly amplified this to a degree that I don't think anyone anticipated. I mean, it's beyond parody how bad things have gotten in that regard because of him. But what the hell exactly is your point here?
He's admitting that his God is a stitched together trash monster. Like, why are you putting that in your documentary, dude? You're dunking on yourself.
Yeah,
Dinesh
very confusing.
Dunks on himself. That's what he does.
Yes.
But only certain people can see it, apparently. So, Bishke, bring us your 3-bone explanation of this film.
Dinesh D'Souza. I'm glad we mentioned that towards the end here, because I was like, the movie's called Trump Card. How much is this really going to be about Trump? Very, very little is about Trump.
Yeah.
Trump daddy gets a few patriotic montages, but there's at this point in the Trump era, very little to defend. We go through all the issues, but Trump's rarely mentioned. And Trump and coronavirus is just never mentioned. And Biden is barely mentioned until his little section. And it's mostly about Bernie and AOC and Omar. But anyway, it's just wild, feverish fear-mongering. It's going to get a few more people to vote for Trump. And
you think so?
Just a few, but
he means like literally 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, in the final analysis, This gets the very first official Finn Woof Hard.
It's a Woof Hard.
Finn Wolfhard defined it for us, and Finn's got a podcast. If you look for it, I just found it recently. But Finn Wolfhard, Dinesh, you've done it 4 times in a row. Congrats! I couldn't give any love and light to anything in this film. It is just vile, disgusting garbage. But anyway,
just so we're all clear on the rules here, a Finn Wolfhard isn't like a turkey in bowling where you have to get 3 strikes and then it's not crowned.
No, yeah, we haven't come up with the rules of the Finn Wolfhard exactly yet.
This is a bold new rating.
We just knew it was coming.
It sounded like the Subway punch card where if you get enough woofs, you get the Wolfhard.
I feel like Travolta should be a Finn Wolfhard because he's definitely had a big streak in the last couple of years.
We still got to work out the lore of the Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, Dinesh has had quite a run, and if 2022, whatever is the United States exists, we will cover his next film at the midterms.
Yeah, we will.
But on to you, Lodge Master.
Well, I think I've said my piece. I think I've made it clear, and I am more than happy to jump into this Finn Wolfhard fever.
I think a Finn Wolfhard is if we all give it a woof. That's a Finn Wolfhard.
Well, I think we nailed it. Yeah, okay.
That's good. That's good. So we all gave it a woof. It's a Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we figured that out. And, it's dangerous garbage for anybody who puts it in front of their eyes, us included, because, we can't get this time back. We got mentally assaulted by this thing. But I want to move on briefly because there is a little thing called a presidential election next week. And much like the Oscars that probably won't be happening the way we're used to this year, I want predictions. What's going to happen, boys?
Lodge Master, you're reading my mind. I had this. This was the last thing on my thing. It says, hey, guys, what are your predictions for the election?
Tap that like button, smash subscribe, hit us up in the comments, and leave a 5-star review.
Find out what we think on our Patreon.
All right, for me,
Bishki, what do you think?
I'll give it a start. Tuesday, November 3rd, Trump is undoubtedly declaring victory without the ballots all being counted. That's just obvious.
True.
We get weeks of social unrest and chaos before Justice Amy Coney Barrett casts the deciding vote in Biden versus Trump and shuts down the ballot counting. We get 4 more years of Donald Trump, and this nation is going to burn to the ground. I hope it's not the truth, but that's my prediction for the Oscars and the election this year.
Can I ditto that? That's what's going to happen. So I think I have to ditto you on that, sir.
Okay.
Anybody have any love and light?
I'm going to say Biden wins the popular vote by 7 million, but narrowly loses the electoral college.
Yeah, that could happen too. Brother Lucas, what's the final word on this?
I have the love and light for Biden. I think it's going to be a landslide, like biggest in history, and Trump and all his minions are going to just like go up in a COVID like flame flash. And Amy COVID Barrett, like she's going to probably get confirmed or whatever, but hopefully we can fight back fairly at a later juncture.
Stirring words from Brother Lucas, and God, I hope you're right, man. I hope we somehow pull through this. I hope that Dinesh doesn't fail upwards and become part of the cabinet anytime soon.
We got to remember that line from Tarantino's script of Natural Born Killers: "Love beats the demon." Love beats the demon. So love. We got to love and light. We got to do some love and light here. Some major love and light.
I want to believe.
On the upside, if Dinesh is in the cabinet for Trump term 2, he's not going to make any more shit-ass movies.
Yeah. No, he'll be making propaganda for the state that we'll all be forced to watch on every channel.
To be fair, I think his fingers have been all over every single ad I've seen for Trump in the last 4 years. Like, Dinesh is working for the state already.
His stink permeates all barriers. But Lucas, I like your love and light. Let's focus on that as we enter into this crazy, crazy time in history.
It's gonna be a bumpy flight.
Love and light at the end of the tunnel. See you on the other side.
Oh, God. Love and light, y'all.
Love and light.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Lodgecast, this is Brother Zach. I heard through a little birdie that we're making predictions about the election. Now, I had to call in. I had to bring the love and light, and I've got some first-hand intel. I've been making phone calls to Georgia. I've been making phone calls to Iowa. I've been making phone calls to Arizona. We got to flip these seats. We got to get these votes. And I've got good news, and I'm going to tell you, the Lodge Master doesn't like hearing about polling. But between the polling and between my anecdotal phone calls, I'm feeling good. So I'm going to make a few predictions. I'm going to say that the House is staying with the Democrats. I'm going to say with the Senate, we need a net 4 seats to get rid of Mitch McConnell. And I think we're going to do it. Then the White House. And I want to make a proposal. If I'm right and Joe Biden wins, the Lodgecast does not review another D'Souza production for 4 years. It's a 4-year ban, if I'm right. If I'm wrong and Trump wins re-election and woe is us, I will review with you every D'Souza production for the eternity of the Lodgecast. That's my bargain. What do you think? I think we're going to win, but if I'm wrong, then woe is all of us, and certainly me, because I don't think I could handle another D'Souza film, let alone all of the D'Souza films. But that's how confident I am right now. Feeling good, guys. Love and light.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining
It's a woof.
It's a goddamn woof.